Hi everyone, good beautiful
Beautiful
Sunday.
Sunday.
The day
Today
is
is
September 17, and it's another episode of the HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa. We are now at episode 148, and we are inviting you to please join us for another free learning session here at the HR Cafe. For those of you who just joined us, the HR Cafe is a weekly program that is aired live at the Philippines HR Group every Sunday at 3 p.m. My name is Coach Darwin Rivers. I'm the founder and president of the Philippines HR Group. I'm a motivational speaker, HR consultant, and I also work in the BPO company as a VP for HR. And joining me, of course, are our mentors. We have Mentor Alan Caliete. Mentor Alan is an HR learning and development OD practitioner with more than 20 years of corporate and freelance consulting experience. He is the managing director of Creative Moods Outsourcing and one of our board of directors at the Philippines HR Group. Mentor Alan, please say hi to our audience.
Good afternoon sa mga nanonood po sa ating online and isang makulimlim na Sunday afternoon. And dyan lang po kayo dahil we have a very interesting topic for today. At ang atin pong panauhin ay isa sa mga pioneers, isa sa mga tinatawag na gurus nung panahon namin nung Job Street pa lamang ang ating forum na tulad nito. So, muli, magandang hapon sa lahat.
Thank you, Mentor Alan. Of course, we also have Mentor Rona Del Florentino, or Mentor Rona. Mentor Rona has more than 20 years of HR practitioner working experience in different local and international companies. She is the president of and CEO of Approach Social Geekers. She's also a public speaker, HR consultant, and one of LinkedIn's top 100 Filipinos to follow. Mentor Rona, magandang hapon, magandang Sunday.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. Ako napaka-exciting ng ating topic ngayon. Excuse me. Dahil tulad nga ng sabi ni Coach Alan, ang atin pong panauhin para sa hapon na ito ay isa sa mga pundasyon, isa sa mga tinitingalang pangalan pagdating sa HR. Lalong-lalo na yung mga kasabayan namin na inabutan pa ang HR Philippines. Yan, sa Job Street pa noon at Yahoo Groups pa ang uso noon. Wala pa tayong Facebook noon. So, napaka-exciting na magiging discussion natin today. At sigurado ko na marami tayong matututunan ngayong hapon na to. Coach Dar?
Agree. And of course, we also have Mentor Tina Coang. Unfortunately, she won't be able to join us today, but Mentor Tina Coang is one of our HR Cafe servers. She's an operations and HR leader with broad local, internet, and overseas experience. She's a general manager for a retail company and an online content creator known for her blog, tinainmanila.com. And she's also one of LinkedIn's top 100 Filipinos to follow. Now, we will be starting our program. Here at the HR Cafe, we provide timely news and updates. We also impart knowledge and experience that are value-adding and beneficial, of course, to you, our audience. We also discuss problems, issues, and challenges and provide answers and resolutions. And this is being given not only by your HR Cafe servers, but also by our guest resource. And through our guest resource, our experts, we provide weekly free training. Ito po yung nasa second part ng ating program where we have experts and seasoned guest resource speakers who provide free training sessions for different HR topics that, of course, you will be learning a lot because these are experts, people who are experts on their field. And here also at the HR Cafe, we discuss any new technologies, tools, best practices, as well as this is meant to be a bridge between the employers and employees. At the end of the day, to also provide inspiration and motivation to the working Filipino class. Now, we start our program for those of you guys who have been with us since the start in 2020 at the height of the pandemic when we started this program. We start our program with on a positive note through the wow quote for the week. And our wow quote for the week is coming from Jim Ron. For this week, Jim Ron quote is about discipline. According to Jim Ron, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Let me just repeat this. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Now, we would like to ask our audience to please share to us how is this wow quote for the week uh, resonates to you guys. Anong ibig sabihin ng quote na to or anong interpretasyon nyo ng quote na to coming from Jim Ron sa buhay at so that we can also share to our audience. Now, we'll start with our mentors. Mentor Rona, napakaganda ng wow quote for the week natin. Coming from Jean Ron, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. What's your take on this, Mentor Rona?
Ako, napaka 100% agree ako kay Jim Ron. Minsan kasi ang nagiging problem natin is marami tayong goals pero yung accomplishment hindi nangyayari. Kasi yun yung kumbaga parang missing element. Wala tayong disiplina, hindi natin napupukpok yung sarili natin so that we are able to take kung ano man yung mga goals natin into yung full accomplishment talaga nila. In some instances naman, ningaskugon sa simula lang okay and then later on, hindi na talaga siya natatapos or walang end na nangyayari kasi nga hanggang sa simula lang and then pag nawalan na ng gana hindi na napapagpatuloy, which is a bit sad kasi eto whatever, 'di ba sabi nga nila, what the mind can conceive the body can achieve, but it only happens if we have a certain level of discipline. Pag wala yung disiplina, at itong disiplina hindi ito kaya nga mahirap minsan para sa atin kasi ang disiplina hindi ito innate, hindi lahat ng tao biglang bibigyan na lang, magigising ka na lang na kaya mong, you can take anything from point A to point B na ganun kadali. Hindi. When it comes to discipline, you have to be conscious, you have to be aware, and you really have to push yourself para talagang ma-accomplish mo kung ano man yung mga goals na sinet mo. Otherwise, people cannot do it for you. External motivators will not do it for you. Kung intrinsically wala talaga doon yung disiplina mo, wala doon yung motivation mo, wala talagang mangyayari. So yung disiplina napaka-importante niyan. And which is saktong-sakto sa speaker natin ngayong araw na to dahil ito having worked with a Japanese company before, I am sure aware siya ng kung ano yung importansya ng pagkakaroon ng disiplina. At pag sinabi nating disiplina, being very organized, following through and making sure that you really commit and you follow through on your commitments. Ayan. Ikaw, Coach Alan, ano po masasabi mo sa ating wow quote for the week?
I really, really agree sa sinabi mo na parang kultura ng Japan to, no? And hopefully ito sana ma-imbibe ng mga Pilipino, yung discipline. Kasi you might have a very grandiose goal, but you don't have discipline. How can you get there? When you've got these big dreams or goals, you want to achieve like becoming a number one company in your industry or sa individual level, you want to become a pro athlete or professional athlete, you want to start a business, or you want to ace a tough certification exam in order to become a supervisor or manager. Well, if that's the destination, you've got to get there with a lot of commitment and talagang discipline to get to that future. The bridge between where you are now and where you want to go spells discipline. No? So discipline is like the secret sauce that gets you from where you are now and where you want to be. So imagine if your goals are on one side, tapos there's a big gap, then on the other side medyo kahit na maraming distractions, maraming mga obstacles, andun yung consistency, the consistency is there, the discipline is there, the sacrifice is there. Talagang you will be able to get to where you want to be. Kasi without discipline, you might have these great goals in mind, but you won't make much progress kapag talagang kulang ka sa disiplina sa sarili. it's like having a roadmap, tapos you're not following the roadmap. So how can you get to where you want to be, no? So discipline is what keeps you on the path even when things get tough or marami ng distractions or obstacles. So in plain terms, this quote is saying, itong quote ni Jim Rohn, no, is saying that if you want to turn your dreams into reality, yan, no, you've got to be really, really, really disciplined. You need to stay focused, work hard, and not give up because that's what builds the bridge between where you are now and where you want to go. That's my take. Thank you,
Thank you
Sir
for
Darwin.
that. Thank you for that, Mentor Alan. And of course, bago ko mag-share, let's say hi to all of the people. Nako, we have more than 50 people who are viewing us live right now. Let's start with Danny Rose Marciano. Sabi ni Danny Rose, good afternoon, HR Cafe. Thank you in advance. Excited for the new learning on today's session. More blessings and happiness to all. Nako, napakaganda yan. More blessings to each and every one of us. Ernie Manuel, Emmy Manuel, blessed Sunday to everyone. Joanne Badango Holgado, hello po, watching from Kabuyaw, Laguna. Sa lahat po ng mga live audience namin, lagay niyo lang po yung pangalan nyo, yung company niyo, or kung saan po kayo naroon ngayon para po ma-shout out namin po kayo. Mary Caballero said, good PM, have a great day, more learning, keep up the good work, coaches. Of course, we've been doing this for more than 3 years now, and we're very happy that this is part of our passion. It's part of the passion of Mentor Rona, Mentor Alan, and Mentor Tina, and this is really part of the advocacy of the Philippines HR Group. Emin Juanilo is also watching. Greetings coming from Jeff Egdane. Ann Hoson is also watching and tagging her friends. Enrico Lorena Boral. Hi, mentors. Excited to join PHRG Summit. Nako, we were looking forward to see everyone at the upcoming PHRG Summit. Pag-uusapan natin mamaya yan. Okay, and now, let's go back to the wow quote for the week. For today. Discipline is a bridge between goals and accomplishment. Maraming tao, a lot of people would think that success is kumbaga birthright, or success is because you have good genes, good family, good upbringing, good school. Reality is those things are just factors that helps you to become successful. Even if you're born with good genes, even if you're born highly intelligent, even if you're born with all of the resources to help you out, even if you have a lot of mentors and coaches guiding you, even if you're part of a big organization that provides you with a lot of opportunities, hindi ka magiging successful kung wala kang discipline sa buhay mo. I've seen a lot of people at ito yung mga taong nakasama ko from the very start. A perfect example would be Mentors Rona and Mentors Alan. I've seen them grow their career. I mean, from being an HR professional, from being an HR leader, director, and now having their own companies. And they've done it not because matalino lang sila, or not because they have the resources, but they, sabi nga ni Mentor Rona kanina, from point A to point B, napakadaming na pagdaan-daanan mo para maging successful ka. At malalagpasan mo lang yung mga yon kung may disiplina ka sa buhay. Reaching your dreams and being successful is anchored on the fact that you should have discipline on yourself. Kung wala kang disiplina, wala kang mararating. And I've seen a lot of people talaga na coming from very good schools, very smart, who have all the resources, pero dahil wala silang disiplina sa sarili nila, wala silang disiplina para i-resolve ang mga issues nila, or discipline to actually learn from others, or discipline to actually look for mentors or look for additional learning, nasa-stuck lang sila kung nasaan sila or walang growth na nangyayari. But having discipline is, sabi nga, is the bridge between your goals and accomplishment. And for me, sabi ni Mentor Alan kanina, it's the secret sauce. For me, it's really the main ingredient, the formula of success. Without discipline, you will not reach your dreams and goals in life. So that it's for me. Let's read from our audiences. Mentor Rona, would you like to read some of the inputs coming from our audience?
Yes. Unahin ko na 'to, hindi ko nakikita yung name niya, so pasensya na kung hindi ko mabanggit ang pangalan mo. Pero maganda itong sinabi niya, "I learned from working with the Japanese is the balance between hone and tatame. Hone through feelings, tatame, kung tama man ang pronunciation ko, what you display in public." Ayan.
O
Tapos
kala ko
sabi
mga ano
naman,
yan eh, mga anime characters yan eh.
akala ko
Kala ko anime characters.
Ako kala ko pagkain eh. Gutom. Palaging gutom. Anyways, sabi rin ni Miss Joanne Holgado, we can set goals anytime, everywhere, but it takes great discipline to accomplish it, which is very, very true. Siguro do sa mga fresh graduates natin, yung papasok pa lang at magtatrabaho pa lang ngayon, yan na isa sa mga dapat yung tandaan. Maganda yung sinabi mo, Coach Dar, maganda yung sinabi ni Coach Alan kanina. Minsan kasi in-expect natin na pagka-graduate natin, dahil maganda naman ng school ko, dapat successful kagad ako, manager kagad ako. Hindi nangyayari yun unless business mo yan, business ng family ninyo. Kasi ang totoo, once na gumraduate ka na, maaaring yung school mo can get your foot in the door. Pwedeng ma-schedule ka for interview, but how you do during the interview and how you do when you get hired, ibang-iba. Doon talaga doon wala nang bearing yung school kasi hindi naman tatanungin ka nung office mate mo, ano bang school ka? Hindi. Ang titignan sa'yo, ano ba yung nagagawa mo? Kumpara doon sa katabi mo, nakaparehong let's say ng job title, ano ba yung nagagawa ninyong dalawa at sino sa inyo ang mas efficient, di ba? So sabi ni Miss Joanne, kailangan din po ng passion sa gusto mo na goal at self-motivation to finish it. Pero once you achieve it, ang sarap ng feelings, which is
Wow.
totoong-totoo. Pag kayo ay na-achieve nyo na yung kailangan yung ma-achieve, nagawa nyo na whatever it is that you set your sights on, ang sarap ng feeling. Lalo na kung alam mo yun, talagang pinaghirapan mo, dugot, pawis mo, ang sarap ng feeling pag natapos mo siya. Sabi naman ni HR Head Christina, my boss is Japanese here in the Philippines and I must say napakaswerte ko. Swerte talaga yung mga nakakahanap ng boss na, alam mo yun, i-hone yung capacity mo na mag-develop ng self-motivation and self-discipline. Nakakaaliw yung mga yan. Ayan po. O, Alan, meron ka bang gusto idagdag?
Actually, kahit naman hindi Japanese, no, may mga Filipino boss din or other nationals na maalam sila sa pag-motivate ng tao nila. Sabi nga a leader might be, a boss can deliver a lot of results through people, but a leader can develop people into becoming a leader themselves. Diba? Kasi yun ang mission ng bawat leader duplicate yourself and make clone yourself so that there will be more leaders under you na maging katulad mo rather than just followers who can deliver results. Kaya
True, totoo
yun.
kayo dyan, Coach Alan. Kung nabasa niyo po kung alam niyo yung 5 levels of leadership, yung reproduction, yun yung level 4 pag nakapag-develop ka na ng tao din, ng leaders din. Level 4 leadership na yun. At ang highest natin is yung level 5 leadership na. Ayan. Coach Dar?
Yeah. Yes, of course. And let's go through now after the welcome for the week. Let's go ahead with our HR question for the week. At ito ay na-post kahapon sa Philippines HR Group. So may nag-post, sabi niya, my probationary contract was ended by our HR last week. And I was not given notice. I have obligations to pay our bills this week. Can I file a case against the company? Kasi nga, hindi siya nakapagbayad ng bills niya kasi tinormate na kagad yung contract niya, yung probationary contract niya. At fault ba si company na abruptly, walang pasabi na i-end ang kanyang contract? Marami nagtatanong dito, are employers obliged to actually give 30-day notice to a probationary employee kung non-regularize ba siya or hindi. What's your take on it? Mentor Rona, alam ko gustong-gusto mong alam kasi nakita ko yung sagot ninyo ni Tina. So, let's start with you, Mentor Rona.
Okay, so let's take muna the question as is. Ang tanong niya is, hindi siya binigyan ng notice, may obligation ba na, may case ba siya against the company? So pag sinabi nating hindi binigyan ng notice, hindi siya binigyan ng 30-day notice. Iba ito doon sa out of the blue, bigla ka na lang tinerminate. Kasi dapat meron pa din tayong due process. And in case of probationary employees, dapat alam mo kung ano yung standards na kailangan mong ma-meet at na-discuss yung appraisal sa'yo at nasabi sa'yo na hindi mo na-meet yung standards. Hindi due process na tipong NTE, NOD. Ang sinasabi natin is, alam mo yung standards, hindi mo na-meet ang standards, as evidenced by the performance appraisal, so bumagsak ka ng probationary period, terminate ka. Pag sinabi nating notice, ito yung 30-day notice na sinasabi natin na common misconception ng mga employees na pag terminate ang isang empleyado, kailangan mag-provide ng 30-day notice. Ang provision po ng 30-day notice, pag nag-terminate si employer, ay nire-require lang po in cases of authorized causes. Kasi kailangan yung i-notify din si DOLE, kailangan may 30-day notification, dahil nga hindi naman kasalanan ni employee yun. Authorized cause, hindi at fault si employee. Kaya may 30-day notice doon dahil doon sa abala na maghahanap na naman ngayon siya ng panibagong trabaho dahil natanggalan siya ng trabaho nang wala naman siyang kasalanan. But in just causes, walang requirement na magkaroon pa ng 30-day notice. So, lalo na kasama po dito, pag yung inyo pong probationary period ay inend. So, bago pa mag 6 months, sinabihan na kayo, eto standards, eto yung appraisal mo, kita naman, bumagsak ka, therefore, your employment is severed or terminated end of business hours today. Pwede po yun. Okay, pwede yun. Bakit inaalaw ng batas yun? Kawawa naman ako, may babayaran pa akong bills. Hindi po yan kasi responsibilidad ng employer. At higit sa lahat, ikaw may at fault ka kasi. Hindi mo nasunod yung standards or let's say nagkaroon ka ng mga violation, kaya na-terminate yung employment mo. Hindi nire-require ang 30 days kasi iniisip din ng batas, wait lang, just cause ito. May possibility na pag pinatagal pa, mas magiging malaki ang negative impact kay employer.
Agree.
So, dapat immediate ito. So, pag sinabi sa'yo, bumagsak or after NTE, NOD, after presentation ng performance appraisal, nakita na talagang bumagsak ka, pwede nilang i-end yon effective immediately. Hindi, wala yung tipong iisipin pa na, may babayaran akong bills, so muna ako i-terminate. Hindi po yun po pwede. At bilang mga HR, careful din tayo dyan kasi meron tayong previous post, kung naalala mo, Coach Dar, na just cause, terminate, binigyan ng 30-day notice. Yung sa 30 days na yun, ang daming ginawa ni employee na kalokohan. So nga mo, namang problema ngayon si employer kung pwede ba niyang i-terminate. Hindi po ganun yun. Wag na kayo magbigay ng 30 days notice kasi just cause naman siya. So, effective immediately po. Pwede po yan. Coach Dar? No, Coach Alan
mo na.
Ako sir, may tanong eh. Kasi itong binigay na case, itong present na case, medyo kulang pa sa detalye, no? And hindi naman sinabi rito na meron siyang kaso. So, ang concern niya rito is, wala po akong kaso, then suddenly I was terminated. Ang sinasabi ng batas, pwede pa rin eh, kahit na wala kang kaso at terminate. Dahil talagang patapos na yung contract or sabi nga ni Ma'am Rona, nasa fifth month ka na at hindi pwedeng umabot ng 6 dahil mariregular ka. Ang punto ko is this, a lot of employees are mga first-time employees na hindi na alam yung mga bagay na to, and they were hoping siguro during that time that they still have job when they report the following day. Nabigla yung tao. Siguro it's a matter of parang para sa akin kahit hindi naman natin obligasyon na i-notify sila. Siguro kahit mga a day before, 3 days before, nasabihan man lang na alam mo matatapos na yung contract mo and yung probi mo, and we will sever your employment dahil for the following reasons. Wala ka namang kaso but tapos na and you did not meet the standards na ating sinet, something like that. Just give the courtesy of telling the employee para hindi lang siya mabigla. Yun lang ang point ko. Although, wala naman silang obligasyon na gawin yun, pero parang kung maganda naman na naging relasyon nila, maganda naman yung pakikitungo nila sa isa't isa, hindi nga nag-fall short nga lang sa performance employee, wala naman sigurong masama, hindi naman siguro magkukulang, mababawasan ng pagkatao natin mga HR kung sasabihan natin yung tao para hindi na siya mabigla. Yun lang ang point ko rito, kaya siguro concerned siya na, wow, binigla ako, hindi man ako sinabihan, wala naman akong atraso, hindi naman masama naging pinagsamahan namin. I was so good in this company, although I did not meet the standard. Siguro, sabihan lang. Yun ang point ko, siguro. Just take parang courtesy lang, kawawa naman yung tao.
Kumbaga, Coach Alan, communication is the key pa rin talaga yan.
Parang wag naman masyadong HR ako, wala akong pakialam, obligasyon niyo yan, obligasyon ko to, so nasa batas ako, so problema nyo na yan. Ang pangit human relations nga di ba? Maging meron lang tayong sanang empathy, that's the key. There should be some sort of empathy on that side, on that matter, para hindi nabigla yung tao. Yun lang opinion ko lang.
Or for me, Alan, I think it's more of setting expectations. For example, alam ng employee from the onset na, meron kang third month evaluation, meron kang fifth month evaluation, and please know that pwedeng a day before your regularization, ibibigay na namin sa'yo yung final decision kung magiging regular ka ba o hindi. So, at least alam ng employee na, before my 180 days, kasi ano ba sinasabi ng batas? Anything beyond 180 days ay automatic, technical, matitechnical ka na may regular ka. So, a lot of companies actually are doing na sinasabi lang nila yung ending of probationary period. Sabi nga ni Mentor Rona kanina, it's also part of safekeeping the company because kung minsan, kung sasabihin mo na mas maaga, halimbawa, fifth month pa lang, sinabi mo na, pero hindi mo naman ito-terminate ang fifth month. Ang sasabihin mo lang is, on the fifth month, bagsak ka. Please know that after 30 days, hindi ka naman regular. Pero pwede ka magtrabaho from fifth month going to sixth month. Mali yun. Kung ibibigay mo yung fifth month evaluation niya sa fifth month, dapat may date ka na kumbaga meron na set mo na expectation niya kailan ba mag-e-end yung contract niya. Pero mas maganda nga is really more of proper communication, setting of expectations, and making sure that the employee understands that leading to non-regularization, ito yung evaluation niya. Ito yung basis bakit hindi siya na-regular. Yung result ng third month evaluation niya at fifth month evaluation niya, or kung ang result ng month-on-month evaluation niya hindi talaga maganda, magbigay ka ng feedback, hindi lang evaluation but also provide feedback, and then set expectations that a week before your 180 days or 3 days before 180 days, you will know the results if you will be regularized or not. So that's my take on it. May Facebook user dito sabi, the employer is not obliged to give a notice for non-regularization. If a notice was given, the probationary employee would have been a regular employee on his last day. Hindi naman po last day, basta beyond 180 days. And then, Bleselina sa Monte Herranilla is watching from Pagsanhan, Laguna. Hello po sa mga taga Pagsanhan. We have more than 60, almost 70 people watching us right now live. Nako, talagang looking forward sila sa topic natin for today. So let us move ahead after our HR question for the week. Let's start with our updates. Ito update lang po from the Department of Labor and Employment. This is via Wage Order RO 7-24 na nagpo-provide ng increase po ng 33 pesos sa Region 7 or Central Visayas. Over the past few months, nagkaroon na po ng increase ang NCR. Tapos most recently, yung binalita namin last week, nagkaroon po ng after ng increase ng minimum wage sa NCR, nagkaroon po ng increase sa Calabarzon region. Ngayon po sinasabi ng DOLE na October 1, magkakaroon po ng increase sa Central Visayas. The Regional Tripartite Wage and Productivity Board in Central Visayas issued wage order number RO7-24 on September 5, 2023. It provides the increase of 33 pesos po, bringing the minimum wage sa Visayas, Central Visayas, Class A areas to 420 pesos up to 468 pesos for non-agriculture establishments and 415 pesos to 485 for agriculture and those establishments who has less than 10 employees. So, yan po yung sinasabi ni Dole. So, kung mapapansin nyo po, in the last 3 months, just for this year alone, nagkaroon po ng movement ang ating wages. Nagsimula po ito sa NCR and then humiling po ang mga taga Calabarzon at ngayon ang Central Visayas naman nag-review at giniraan po sila ng DOLE. Last year, if I recall, yung isang malawakan ng increase na nangyari last year, nagkaroon ng increase last year for the minimum wage. Kaya nga, ang minimum wage natin ngayon ay mas mataas kaysa last time. What's your take, mentors? Why do you think that it's very important that there should be an increase on minimum wage of the employees per region? Kasi hindi to tulad nung pattern tayo sa US, di ba? Yung per state and per region, yung increases. Hindi siya tulad nung sa ibang bansa, ba sa Singapore or sa Singapore or Malaysia na pag sinabing mag-increase ang minimum wage, buong bansa may increase ang minimum wage. Pero sa atin kasi per region ang increase ang minimum wage. Siguro ang tanong ka sa mga mentors and I would also like to get your thoughts on it. Kailangan ba o napapanahon ba itong pag-increase ng minimum wage? Kasi sunod-sunod na from NCR, from Calabarzon, from Central Visayas, and I'm sure yung other regions will follow tulad na nangyari last year. Sunod-sunod din ang increase noon. At iikot na naman po ang puwet ng ating mga taga-total rewards at ang puwet ng mga taga-compensations and benefits. Kasi yung na-plan mo na budget for this year, patapos na nga yung taon, may mga increases pala na nangyayari. What's your take on it? Let's start with you, Mentor Rona, since you're an expert in terms of total rewards.
Sa punto de vista, sa point of view ng mga empleyado, napapanahon na to. Napapanahon naman na talaga considering yung pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin, yung ating inflation rate. So, napapanahon na magkaroon na ng increase sa minimum wage. At
napapanahon dahil mahal na ang bilihin o napapanahon dahil nagtaas ang NCR?
Napapanahon dahil mahal na ang bilihin. If you would notice actually, even areas yung mga nasa provinces na areas natin, hindi na nagkakalayo ang presyo ng bilihin sa NCR sa presyo ng bilihin sa mga commercialized na mga provinces na. Like for example, in Central Visayas, yung Central Visayas na area natin, karamihan dyan sa mga yan ay ikino-consider na natin na commercialized na sila dahil hindi na ito yung tipo na hindi inaabot ng Meralco. Wala na tayo sa ganung panahon eh. Halos pare-pareho na yung presyo ng bilihin. So napapanahon lang naman talaga na magkaroon na ng increase. Pero sa point of view kasi ng mga employers, I would not say that this is the best time for it. Pero syempre, ang mga employers, kailangan natin sumunod ha. Wag po dahil sinabi natin na hindi ito best time, hindi tayo susunod. Kailangan po natin sumunod sa minimum wage. Kung ayaw niyo pong sumunod, meron naman po ino-offer ang NWPC at ang DOLE na ways na kung paano kayo po pwedeng ma-exempt. Pero ang exemption lang po is anywhere from 6 months to a year. Hindi po yan lalagpas doon. Hindi po forever. Para sa point of view ng mga employers, I wouldn't say that it is the best time for that. Kasi yung mga employers ay nagsasuffer pa from the impact of the pandemic, and nagsasuffer pa sila from nagsasuffer sila a bit from the impact of the increase in the minimum wage last year. Kasi last year lang yun eh. At nagsunod-sunod yun. At hindi ito yung mga tipong 10 piso, 20 pesos na increase. Significant din ang naging increase last year. At ang mga employers ay hindi rin naman sila exempted doon sa taas ng mga bilihin at sa inflation rate. Ano din sila diyan, may impact din sa kanila kasi yung mga materials na ginagamit nila, yung mga kahit pa sabihin natin na hindi raw materials na ginagamit para do sa mga products na nilo-launch nila, but anything that they are buying para magamit ng kanilang mga empleyado, lahat yan nagtaas. So dahil nahihirapan din sila doon, this recent line up of increases, may impact sa kanila yan. At nararamdaman na yan ng ibang mga companies. I live in Makati. So nakikita ko, pag kunwari Sabado, Linggo nag-iikot ka, makikita mo yung mga kainan that used to be there that are no longer there. Nagsara, nag-pull out, nakikita mo yun, or nag-reduce na sila ng kanilang number of branches, mapapansin mo yan. So doon pa lang alam mo na may impact ito. Now, of course, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabihin na hindi dapat tayo mag-increase. Kasi kumbaga sabi nga nila, diba, something's got to give. Sino mag-a-adjust? Ang mag-a-adjust ba ay yung mga empleyado na very little ang control nila sa nangyayari, or yung mga employers na kahit papano, there are ways for them to sustain their business.
Agree.
Diba? It's all about kung gaano ka-sound yung ginawa ninyong business plan at gaano ka-sound yung strategy ninyo at gaano kayo kabilis nakaka-adapt sa market kasi nagbabago na rin ang market. If you insist on doing what you were doing prior to the pandemic, makikita nyo na mahihirapan kayo, and changes like this, especially sa mga minimum wage, madali kayo maapektuhan. Pero if you're going to look at the big picture, expand your horizon, and see kung ano ba yung pwede mong gawin para hindi ganun katindi yung impact, madali kayong makaka-adapt. I've seen some businesses na before the pandemic, maliit lang sila, pero after the pandemic, dun talaga sila nag-bloom, nag-grow, kasi mabilis silang naka-adapt. So, kung ang usapan ay napapanahon, sa point of view ng mga empleyado, palagi naman yung napapanahon kasi
at
taas
kulang
ng
pa
mga
nga,
bilihin.
di ba?
Kulang
Kulang
pa
nga.
actually. Kulang pa kasi 'di ba nga ito yung yung mga napag-uusapan natin, Coach Dar, na minsan masyado nating naro-romanticize yung pagiging matiisin ng mga Pilipino, na tipong konting increase lang, ando na kagad tayo sa okay lang yan, at least may increase, pagkasyahin na lang. When in reality, hindi dapat ganun yung mindset natin. Dapat dun tayo sa kung saan tayo komportable, hindi yung minimum lang. Yung talagang komportable tayo na hindi tayo mahihirapan. At yung increase na tong mga to, nandun pa lang tayo sa minimum, yung hindi, kumbaga, pwede nang mabuhay pero hindi pa komportable. Etong, kung mapapansin nyo, di ba, ang Manila right now is at 610, etong Central Visayas natin, nasa mga bandang 400,
400
500
plus.
pa lang ito.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, umabot lang to ng 400, 500 dahil dun sa increase last year. Because prior to this, nasa 300 lang tong mga to. Diyos ko, apakababa. Pag nagkokonda kami ng HR bootcamp, alam mo yung minsan na hindi ko ako mismo sa sarili ko, hindi ko matanggap na 300 pesos considering na highly urbanized na ang Cebu, ang Cebu City, even Bohol. Itong mga area na to ay mga commercialized na, pero 300 pa din, 'di ba? So itong mga increase na to ay napapanahon na talaga para sa mga empleyado. Sa mga employers, we have to find a way kung paano tayo makaka-adapt dito.
Agree.
Ayun, yun ang aking point dyan.
Ako, for me, and you know this, Metaron, now we've always been advocating that it's high time for the Philippines to have one minimum wage across.
Correct.
Kasi ano nga kahit saan ka magpunta, pare-pareho lang naman halos ang bilihin. Yung Jollibee sa Metro Manila, pareho lang din ng Jollibee ng Cebu, Davao at ano, pareho lang ang cost, 'di ba? Ang mga bilihin, ang presyo ng bigas, presyo ng bilihin ay halos magkakapareho lang. At napakalapit. Kumbaga, hindi makatarungan na magkakaroon tayo ng paiba-ibang kumbaga minimum wage per region. But since that's what we have right now, and I really hope that legislation would look into it, where the Philippine HR Group is advocating that sana dumating ang time na ma-hear out tayo ng government, ng mga employers, na magkaroon po ng one minimum wage across the Philippines. Kasi it will also help decongest Metro Manila. Kasi biruin mo, nagpupuntahan yung mga tao sa Metro Manila, yung mga tag-probinsya, nagpupuntahan sila sa Metro Manila kasi ang tingin nila sa Metro Manila is mataas ang sweldo sa Metro Manila. Reality is, mataas ang sweldo sa Metro Manila pero mataas ang bilihin, mataas lahat ng gastusin. 'Di ba? Ang joke nga at least sa probinsya, maglakad-lakad ka lang, may makukuha ng talbos ng kamote, meron ka na makukuha ang mga, 'di ba? Kumbaga, but that's for me, that's toxic positivity of a Filipino. Yung sinasabi ni Metro Rona kanina na merong ugali ang mga Pilipino na magpasalamat na lang kasi dahil kung anong meron. Ano yan, nagbunga yan sa sinasabi nating kasabihan na pag maiksi ang kumot, matutong mamaluktot.
Agree.
Ako, I've never been a fan of that kasi same with Mentor Rona, and I'm sure Mentor Alan would agree na pag nandun ka sa sitwasyon na uncomfortable ka, you should at impacting sa family mo, impacting sa livelihood mo, people should be able to go out to find better lives, to find better opportunities, to find a better way. Kasi hindi ka naman nagtatrabaho para lang mabuhay sa ganoong level lang, di ba? Nagtatrabaho ka kasi gusto mong mabigyan ng magandang buhay yung pamilya mo at magandang buhay yung sarili mo. So, going back to the question, napapanahon na po at we really hope that our employers will really look into how we will be able to see this increases, and I'm sure it will not only be Central Visayas, I'm sure other regions in the Philippines will follow suit. Tulad nangyari last year, nagkaroon ng increase ng NCR, sunod-sunod na po yan bawat region. Asahan niyo po.
Coach Dar, isingit ko lang kasi akala nung iba na, 468 na sa Class A region, marami na ako mabibili. Tatandaan po natin na yung mga naka-publish na minimum wage rate, ito po ay nominal wage rate.
Correct.
Hindi po ito real wage rate kasi ang real minimum wage rate po ay mas mababa. So 468 ang naka-publish, pero ang real minimum wage rate po natin ay pumapalo lang po yan ng nasa mga 430 to 450 pesos. Mas mababa. Kung tama yung kung tama yung yung estimate ko, nasa mga 430, 450, mas mababa po yan. So yung nakikita nyo po, hindi po yan ang actual na minimum wage rate. Mas mababa pa po dyan, yung real minimum wage rate, kasi dalawa po yan palagi.
Better Alan, what's your take on the minimum wage increases that is happening or will be happening because similar to last year, sunod-sunod na ang pag-increase per region?
Agree ako sa sinabi niyong dalawa. Dahil tama nga naman na kahit saan ka magpunta, pareho lang halos yung presyo ng bilihin. Bakit merong provincial rate? So nakakaawa yung mga empleyadong walang choice but to work in their provinces because they don't have opportunity to work in Metro Manila. And tama ka rin na yung mga merong opportunity to get here, yun, na-opodgest tuloy yung population dito and lalong humihirap yung buhay nila dahil hindi naman ganun kadali ang sabihin natin cost of living nila rito and the way of life dito. And ako, I have talagang curious lang ako eh. Saan ba ugat itong pagkakaiba-iba ng minimum wage? Kung uugatin kasi natin, yung yung bang cause kung bakit ang legislation nag-decide na gawing iba-ibang minimum wage. Yung cause ba na yun, hanggang ngayon ba nadudun ba yung mga factors that
Yeah.
should lead them into making that decision?
Mm.
Kung ito pong batas na ito ay hindi na naayon sa kasalukuyang pangyayari o the facts that are happening right now, wala na yung mga factors that led them into making that decision, bakit hindi po agad gawa ng paraan? Ilang taon ang tinatanong yan eh. Sa katutak na rally na ang dumaan ng mga, alam mo, mga labor groups.
Saka ano, ilang politiko na nangako yung patungkol dyan.
Ang dami na. Ang dami nang nanalong politiko na nangako walang laman, di ba?
Alam nyo
Na
ba,
hindi natupad.
actually, yung minimum wage, nung before pa, nung bago pa lang ang ating labor code, ang setting ng minimum wage ay dalawa lang. Pag nasa Metro Manila ka, ito yung amount. Outside of Metro Manila, ito yung amount. Dalawa lang.
Correct.
Dalawa lang yan kasi nga ito yung time na ang Metro Manila, ito yung pinaka developed na area. Meron pang urbanized, may kuryente, may telepono, may kung ano pa man, which is something na wala pa outside of Metro Manila. Wala ka pa. Ito pa yung mga panahon na literal na hindi pa inaabot ng Meralco. Wala ka pang telepono. Talaga yung mga bahay
walang kalsadang matino para makapag-travel ka, di ba?
Yes. So dalawa lang yung setting noon. Tapos over time, dahil nga na-realize na, itong area na to medyo nagsisimula na siyang ma-develop. So nagkakaroon ng per province na, per area na. Which, again, tama yung sabi ni Coach Alan eh. Wala na tayo dun sa panahon na may mga areas pa na hindi ganun ka-develop. Maaaring may mga areas pa na hindi pa siya katulad ng Metro Manila, pero siguro pwede ako mag-estimate na 95 to 98% na Pilipinas may kuryente na. 95 to 98% ng 80 to 90% ng Pilipinas inaabot na ng telepono. 'Di ba? So ano ngayon yung reason kung bakit may mga areas pa din like Central Visayas, bakit mas mababa pa din ang minimum wage sa Central Visayas considering na pag nasa Cebu City ka, yung gastos mo sa Cebu City ay hindi nalalayo sa gastos mo sa Metro Manila.
Exactly.
Diba?
So, may classifications naman ng city tsaka mga city tsaka mga provinces. Kung ang class nila ay na kapareho na rin ang class ng mga cities ng Metro Manila, ibig sabihin yan, pati mga gastusin, halos pareho na rin. So, talagang iiyak ang manggagawa, lalo na sa mga panahon na to. Kaya sana maintindihan din ng mga employers yung kanilang mahinanaing. At hindi sila basta-basta lang nagiging militante, nagsasalin ng kung ano ng grupo para lang mapaglaban. Hindi po eh. Pilipino rin tayo. Alam natin na mahihirapan na rin sila. Lalo na ngayon na lalong nagiging problematic yung paghawak ng pera ng gobyerno at lahat ng mga taong sa buong sambayan na apektuhan. Kaya kailangan natin ng accountability nga, di ba? Accountability is really important right now. And now the impact is felt at the level of the masses. Kaya dumadaing lamang po sila dahil natatapakan, nasasaktan. Kung pang-unawa, kung sino, yung resilience na sinasabi, pinakamalakas ang kapabilidad na magkaroon ng resilience, wala namang iba kundi ang mga employers. Yung mga employees, yung resilience na sinasabi, magtiis ka, natatapakan ka na nga magtiis ka pa rin. Di ba? Tama yung sinabi ng Ambrona, mas malaki ang capability, ang kakayahan ng mga employers na gumawa ng kaparaanan versus the employees.
Share ko lang ha. Alam nyo ba na sa Hong Kong, ang minimum wage nila ay 40 Hong Kong dollars per hour. Per hour. 40 Hong Kong dollars is about 210 pesos. Kung tama yung aking conversion. Lagyan na natin sa 200 pesos. 200 pesos per hour. That means in a day, meron ka ng 1/6. In a month na naka 5-day work week ka, magkano na kagad yun? Diba? Na parang kung iisipin natin at lagi natin tinatanong bakit ba nangingibang bansa yung mga Pilipino? Ito yung rason. hindi naman sa pinupuwersa natin yung mga employers kasi syempre capacity to pay is one of the things that we look at when we are incumbent. But try to look for ways ng kung paano nyo ma-ensure na komportable yung mga empleyado ninyo. Kasi isa yan sa mga rason kung bakit maraming umaalis, maraming na-attract sa ibang bansa. Dahil nga sa sobrang baba ng sweldo sa Pilipinas. And tayo din mismo, dapat alam mo yon bilang mga empleyado din naman tayo dapat inaano din natin we advocate for a higher minimum wage para sa mga kapwa natin Pilipino kasi yung minimum wage natin right now ay hindi siya nakakasabay sa kung anong nangyayari in terms of yung ating inflation rate, yung taas ng mga bilihin, hirap na hirap siya sa pagsabay. So ayun, yun lang naman.
Agree. Yung may nag-post dito, ang sabi niya is wage across or ito yung ina-advocate natin na sana magkaroon ng minimum wage across the whole Philippines. Please check the variable indicators of NEDA. Yun po yung pinag-uusapan natin. Kasi yung indicators po na nasa NEDA is masyado, for me is masyadong masyadong makaluma, masyadong biotic kasi hindi siya updated kasi basically a lot of metropolis outside Metro Manila kung tutuusin mas maganda pa nga yung kalsada and real talk lang, there are places in other cities outside Metro Manila na mas maganda pa yung kalsada nila, mas efficient pa yung transport system nila, mas malakas pa yung internet nila. So if all of these indicators are present in one area, why should we not look into improving the minimum wage of those areas and just having Metro Manila or NCR as the main point na ito lang dapat sa Metro Manila lang dapat mataas ang sahod. I know that a lot of companies are moving outside Metro Manila for being cost effective. I mean, we've seen that. Especially in our case in the BPO industry, Rona, 'di ba? Kaya nga tayo napupunta sa sa Cebu, sa Bohol, sa Dumaguete, sa ibang lugar and even yung mga malalapit pa lang Antipolo, Cainta kasi minimum wage sila pero katabi na sila halos ng Metro Manila, 'di ba? Kay Alan nga
reklamo yan ng
nung reklamo yan ng mga taga-Cainta.
Reklamo nung client. Oo.
Humakbang lang sila, isang hakbang, Pasig na sila, pero sila, below minimum wage sila kasi provincial rate daw sila, samantalang magkatabi lang ang Pasig sa Cainta. Di ba? So, this is something that for me, our economic managers, our political leaders, and our employers should look into. Because at the end of the day, we're one country. We employers and employees are in one boat. If employees should understand the predicament of the employers na kung saan, syempre, business yan kailangan nilang kumita. Pero dapat makita rin ng mga employers yung predicament ng mga employees na pag patuloy silang naghihirap, pag patuloy na hindi na nahihirapan ng mga employees, mawawalan tayo ng talent. Lalabas yan ng Pilipinas. Magiging ibang bansa yan. Or tulad na nangyayari ngayon, mas gusto na nila mag-work from home at kumuha ng mga employers outside the Philippines kasi hindi na sila nagbabayad ng tax or hindi na nila kailangang sumabay sa minimum wage sa Pilipinas kasi mas mataas ng konti yung sinasahod nila. So that's something that we're hoping and we're advancing in the Philippines Asia Group. Now, napakadaming discussion po nito. So let's go to our next topic. Ma'am Rona, Mentor Rona, updates from SSS.
Yes, pinapaalala po ng SSS, huwag po tayong gumamit ng mga fixer. Diyos ko, magkakaproblema pa kayo lalo pag kayo po ay nakipag-ugnayan sa mga fixers kasi hindi kayo sigurado kung yung mga fixers na kausap nyo ay talaga nga bang nakakatulong sa inyo. So kung kayo po ay naging biktima ng scammers or fixers para sa inyo po mga SSS online transactions, maaari po kayo actually magsampa ng reklamo sa atin pong Philippine National Police or PNP at sa anti-crime anti-cybercrime group ng atin pong National Bureau of Investigation. Ireklamo nyo po yan, magsampa po kayo ng kaso para matulungan po kayo ng SSS. Maaari din naman po kayong makipag-ugnayan sa SSS Special Investigation Department at sa inyo pong mga local law enforcement agencies para po maireklamo ang inyong mga nakadaupang palad na mga fixers at scammers para matulungan po kayo. Ang pagre-report po ng mga scammers at fixers sa SID ay maaari pong gawin sa FID@sss.gov.ph. Pwede rin po kayong tumawag sa 8924-7370 or pwede po kayong lumapit sa pinakamalapit na PNP station or sa NBI Cybercrime Group po. Okay. Naka-mute ka po, Coach Dar, or ako na? Okay. At syempre po, ang paborito nating government agency na sangkatutak ang discounts na binibigay sa ating mga miyembro. Pinapaalala po ng Pag-ibig kung kayo po ay merong loyalty card or loyalty plus card, maaari po kayong mag-enjoy ng 10% discount on food and drinks para po sa lahat ng company-owned branches ng Figaro, Angel's Pizza at Yenmas. Ang kailangan nyo lamang pong gawin na i-present ang inyong loyalty Pag-ibig or loyalty Pag-ibig plus card. Kung wala pa po kayong loyalty Pag-ibig or loyalty Pag-ibig plus card, pumunta na po sa pinakamalapit na Pag-ibig, kumuha na po kayo doon. Napakabilis pong mag-apply ng loyalty Pag-ibig loyalty plus card. Within minutes po, makukunan na po kayo ng picture at yan po ay maaari nyo nang magamit kagad as soon as makuha nyo. Yung loyalty plus card po, yung po yung pinaka-latest nila. ATM na rin po yan at maaari nyo pong gamitin yan bilang savings account or pag kayo po ay bibili online transactions, pwedeng-pwede nyo pong gamitin ang inyong loyalty card plus. Ayan.
Napakadali pong kumuha ng Pag-ibig Loyalty Plus card. Mas madali
Yes.
po kumuha ng Pag-ibig Loyalty Plus card kaysa kumuha ng Pag-ibig, no, Ma'am Rhonda?
Oo, mas madali yung ID, yung card plus kaysa Pag-ibig. Huwag kayong masyadong tumingin sa inyong mga katabi, hindi ka mahal yan. May sama ng loob.
Okay. Kung ang Pag-ibig ay paborito dahil maraming discount, ito namang ahensya na to ay paborito natin din. Ito yung madalas nating karamay kapag matindi ang ating oras, ang ating pangailangan. Lalo na kung kayo'y merong karamdaman, kung inyong mga kamag-anak o pamilya ay may karamdaman, ang PhilHealth ang ating tinutukoy. Ang PhilHealth, lagi ang merong benefit package sa kung ano-anong sakit. Sa ngayon, ang tinutukoy nila ay sagot po ng PhilHealth ang gamutan sa tuberculosis o TB. Meron tinatawag na TB DOTS. Ito ay Outpatient Anti-Tuberculosis Direct Observed Treatment Short Course na nagkakahalaga yung benefit package ng 4,000 pesos. Kaya proteksyonan po ang sarili mula sa sakit na ito. Kayo po'y kumonsulta, libre pong konsulta sa PhilHealth para malaman kung kayo ay meron TB or tuberculosis at kung meron ay huwag na ho kayong mag-alala at ang inyong kamag-anak o kapamilya kung meron man sila ng ganito at sila naman ay membro ng PhilHealth, ay matutulungan po sila ng nagmamalasakit ng PhilHealth. Kaya pinoproteksyonan tayo ng PhilHealth, proteksyonan din natin ang pondo ng PhilHealth. Okay? Sa pamamagitan ng pagbayad ng tama at saka pagbabantay dito. Maaring i-avail ang alinmang PhilHealth alinmang sa PhilHealth accredited TB DOTS center sa buong bansa. Tumawag lamang po kayo sa kanilang mga contact numbers at mga contact information para maserbisyohan kayo ng diagnostic exams, consultation services, health education, at counseling. Kasama rin ang mga gamot para sa tuberculosis. Para naman sa mga HR na nakakaranas ng mga pagkabagsa, anxiety at kung anong pa mga mental health issues. Laging sinasabi, sino ang HR ng HR? Meron na po ang Infinite Care. Ito po ay nakipag-partner sa Philippines HR Group upang bigyan ng, hindi naman aruga, kundi bigyan ng kaukulang pansin at lunas ang mga empleyado, lalong-lalo na ang HR practitioners who are suffering from any kind of mental health issues. Kaya ang mga benefits na ating pong ma-enjoy sa kanila ay they provide, no? The partnership will provide mental health support platform for the PHRG members, giving them access to personalized care or self-care tools and resources. A chat helpline also, pag kung kayo ba'y wala makausap at kayo nalolongkot, ayan, pwede nyo makausap ang mga counselors ng Infinite Care dahil sila po yung mga trained psychologists, licensed psychologists and coaches and counselors who are experts in listening to issues that has something to do with your emotional and psychological and even mental um, um, issues or problems or concerns. Kaya, kontakin lamang po. Meron pong app, no, Sir Darwin, para sila makakontak. Naka-mute ka pa.
Sorry po yan, nakamute pala ako. So, sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon sa HR Cafe, i-download nyo lang po ang Infinite Care app sa inyong mobile phone. Ang Infinite Care app po ay available sa Google Store or sa Apple Store. Download nyo lang po ang Infinite Care app at mag-sign on lang po kayo. Gumawa po kayo ng account ninyo at ang gagawin niyo pong sign on is PhilHRG. Yun po ang password or PhilHRG para po ma-access nyo lahat po ng available resources ng application sa Infinite Care para po yung nga sinasabi ni Mentor Alan na mga counseling sessions, free information about mental health at whatnot. And Mentor Alan, I'll take this opportunity to actually announce our upcoming Philippines HR Group HR Summit. This will be on October 13. It's a Friday. It's a Friday 13, pero gagawin po namin napakaganda ng Friday 13 news, October 13. Our theme for the HR Summit ay 3Ps. Hindi po ito yung binibigay ng gobyerno ha. Ito po ay the paradigm and perspective on people's strategy. This will be the summit that a lot of people are anticipating kasi yung last summit natin was 2019 prior to pandemic, and a lot of people are really looking forward for another HR summit from the Philippines HR Group. Ngayon po, we're announcing we have more than 20 top leaders, international speakers, industry leaders, and seasoned HR professionals na mapapanood nyo at magsasalita po sila sa ating HR Summit. This is a whole day event. Kasama po si Mentor Rona sa ating mga speakers, mga panel speakers natin. At andun po kami, ako, si Mentor Alan, kasi po that's the lahat po ng board ng Philippine HR Group. I would be there to support the HR Summit. Bukod po doon sa ating international speakers, industry leaders at HR professionals sa pupunta. Marami po tayong mga hinandang surprises. Meron po tayong complimentary pass sa World HR Summit. Meron tayong strength coaching na ibibigay sa ating mga attendees. Meron tayong mga paraffle ng mga HR books. Meron tayong mga paraffle ng mga scholarships at training programs na ating iraraffle during the event. We will now be holding it at the Grand Ballroom or the Ballroom of the Sheraton Hotel, and this is in Pasay City. Ito po ay tapat lang po ng NAIA 3. Para po ito sa mga nagtatanong kung nasaan po ang Sheraton Hotel. Kasi dalawa po ang Sheraton Hotel sa Pilipinas. May Sheraton by the Bay at yung Sheraton Manila at yung Sheraton Manila Hotel. Doon po tayo sa Sheraton Manila Hotel. Ito po yung hotel sa may tapat ng NAIA 3. Ito po yung pinakabagong hotel na sa Resorts World area sa Andrews Avenue. Napakalaki po ng ating ballroom na kukunin. Kasya po ang 400 packs. Meron po tayong exhibits, may job fair po tayo, online job fair. Meron po tayong of course yung ating a conference with all of our speakers at talaga pong pinag-isipan namin kung sino po mga speakers ang kukunan para po sa HR Summit. So magkita-kita po tayo sa October 13, Friday sa Sheraton Hotel, Sheraton Manila Hotel for the Philippines HR Group HR Summit 2023. Yan po. And also, para po makapag-register, punta lang po kayo sa FB page ng Philippines HR Group. Nasa announcement po. Meron pong registration po doon. Mag-register lang po kayo at makaka-receive po kayo ng information. Ang fee po, kung marami po nagtatanong, nako baka mahal po yan kasi sa isang 5-star hotel ang ating venue. Alam niyo po, ever since po na nagkaroon po ng HR Summit at saksi po si Mentor Alan sa si Mentor Rona, every event po ng Philippine HR Group, ito po, very cost-effective, very cost-efficient. Kung ang mga summits for conferences na naatinan nyo ay 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 pataas, ang HR Group Summit ng Philippines HR Group ay only 3,999. Buffet lunch na po yan, may AM/PM snacks, may loot bags, and of course, marami po kayong matututunan with our 20 plus speakers at meron din po tayong cocktail nights na mangyayari kasi may ila-launch po natin ang ating awardings of Pillars of HR. So please join us at the Philippines HR Group HR Summit 2023 happening on October 13, 2023. Also, nabanggit ko po kanina na may World HR Summit. Yung World HR Summit po, partner po ang Philippines HR Group sa World HR Summit event. Mauuna lang po ang World HR Summit. Ang World HR Summit po kung ay sa Marriott Hotel Manila. Nasa Resorts World din po siya. Kung ang Philippine HR Group Summit ay nasa Sheraton, ang World HR Summit naman po ay mangyayari sa Marriott. 2 days po sila at ito po ay mangyayari no October 5 and 6. Marami pong speakers sa taga Philippines HR Group ang magto-talk sa World HR Summit. Isa po ako doon na magto-talk sa World HR Summit. And kaya po, ang cost actually ng World HR Summit is $399. Pero kung member po kayo ng Philippines HR Group at mag-a-attend kayo ng Philippines HR Group Summit, makaka-receive po kayo ng complimentary ticket or complimentary pass sa World HR Summit. So, yun po, isa po sa mga benefits. And we're also looking forward to see you at the World HR Summit. And also, if you have any questions, please post it at the Philippines HR Group. Our Facebook group has now more than 308,000 today, 308,000 at the Philippines HR Group FB group page at ang LinkedIn page natin over 35,000 and growing. Sabi nga ni Mentor Alan, dito sa ating group we're exponentially growing. Yan po. At lahat po ng to, kaya po tayo nag-grow is dahil po sa trust, confidence, and support po ng community po natin. So if you have any questions, just post it at the Philippines HR Group. At marami po tayong mga mentors doon. Andun po, palagi po sumasagot yun si Mentor Rona, mga senior mentors natin ako. Pag meron kayong mga HR issues na ipopost sa FB po ng Philippines HR Group. And now we're going to our second part. Ito po yung exciting part, yung second session ng HR Cafe, kung saan free training po tayo with our guest speaker. At ang guest speaker po natin ay no other than Mr. Ernesto Espinosa, who will be discussing about lessons from Japanese sense of discipline and work ethics. And I'll give the floor to Mentor Rona to properly introduce our esteemed speaker for today.
Our esteemed speaker for today ay isa po sa kilalang pangalan pagdating po sa HR. Naalala ko nung ako ay bago pa lang sa HR. Isa po siya sa mga talagang very well-known name at nung time na yon ay talaga namang associated with PMAP. Ito yung mga matunog ng tumutunog at sila talaga along with Ka Jaime, with Ka Dani, sila talaga yung mga movers and shakers nung time na yun. Until now pa rin naman sila yung ating mga guru sa Philippines HR group at sila talaga yung nag-guide sa mga bagong HR ng kung paano ba ma-develop yung kanilang mga skills. Now, the speaker for today, Mr. Ernesto Espinosa, is widely known in the HR circle as the Filipino HR guru who became the president in 2008 to 2010 ng World Federation of People Management Associations, who has more than 90 countries as its members. And he was also the president in 2007 to 2008 and 2012 to 2014 of the Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resource Management. So ganun yung level ng kanyang understanding of HR. Hindi lang ito pang Philippines, ito po ay nag-span po ng around 90 countries worldwide po yung kanyang knowledge at yung value na nabibigay niya. Si APFHRM or the Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resources Management has actually 15 member countries. And both of these organizations are considered as the largest HR associations worldwide. Excuse me. Hindi talaga kinakaya na lalamunan ko. Mr. Espinosa's involvements are purely on voluntary and non-salaried basis. How many of us can actually say na ako ay willing mag-volunteer ng aking time and effort, diba? The People Management Association of the Philippines or PMAP also have given him or he was also the president of the said organization in 2002, and he was also awarded the People Manager of the Year in 2006 by the same organization. He has helped two major companies, Fujitsu Computer Products Corporation of the Philippines and Energy Development Corporation, in their people management and engagement, change management, and culture transformation efforts. Fujitsu was top employer of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA for 3 years until it was elevated to the top employer Hall of Fame. EDC, on the other hand, is the third largest geothermal company in the world and is multi-awarded in business, corporate governance, and environment. Sir Espinosa, Sir Ka Ernie, ano pa ba mga tawag natin sa kanya? Ernie is a much sought international HR speaker, having spoken in HR conferences in more than 20 countries worldwide. He also speaks in local conferences specializing in strategic HR, talent management, leadership development, culture transformation, employee engagement, succession planning, career management, effective communication, diversity cross-culture training, balanced scorecard, Japanese culture and values, strategic planning, and the like. So para po do sa ating mga audience for today, this is actually kung ito ay naiibang training, naku, napakamahal ng babayaran nyo sa mga sandaling ito. But today, we are very honored to have within our meets one of the pillars of HR in the Philippines, Ka Ernie Espinosa. Ka Ernie, alam ko ayaw mong tinatawag ka Ernie, but I'm going to call you Ka Ernie because I have super high regards for you as an HR professional. Ka Ernie, kumusta po ang iyong hapon?
Mabuti naman na Rona.
Ayan. So,
Maraming
Ka Ernie.
salamat sa
Yes po.
inyo. Darwin, Rona, Alan, at si Tina.
Yes po. So, Ka Ernie, bibigay na po namin sa inyo yung floor para makapag-present na po kayo. Backstage po muna kami. Floor is yours na po, Ka Ernie.
Okay. O sige. Thank you very much. Let me start first with a prayer, no? Because every time I do my webinars, I start with a prayer. Let's all bow our heads and pray in the holy presence of God. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses. So forgive those who trespass against us. Please do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Okay, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually the second time that I was invited by HR Cafe. I recall then that it was probably during my birthday of this year, sometime in February. And PHRG was kind enough to give me a birthday cake. Now, let me just start by saying how I was able to work with a Japanese company who many of us or many of you know as Fujitsu. Uh, I was actually headhunted. I came all the way from a large hotel as HR director and then eventually moved to a investment bank where I became assistant vice president of HR. Now, in my entire career, I was able to report to 7 nationalities. I recall the 4 A's, no? American, Argentinian, Aust- Australian, Chinese, Filipino, and then Japanese. Now, let me emphasize that I am not here to tell you that the Japanese have the best HR practices because the other nationalities do have, and we can actually copy them all shamelessly if they are good HR practices. Now, when I joined Fujitsu sometime in May of 1995, I had some disappointments, in fact, embarrassing situations. One time I was asked by my counterpart in strategic planning what we will do to technicians and how shall we place them in the company's position structure. And I said, frankly, I don't know. I didn't have the answer because I never worked for a manufacturing company. As I told you earlier, I came from a hotel and then an investment bank. No? So I knew nothing about manufacturing operations. But the thing about the Japanese is that as long as you are honest with them, they will accept you. They will not judge you. They will give you a chance. So as I move forward, there was another incident when the same counterpart from strategic planning in front of the president restructured the Fujitsu organization where he changed the position of all directors to managers. And when that happened, I will be honest in telling you that I raised hell in front of the president. And you can hear my voice even in the other building because it was too loud because I was mad. I said something like, how the hell, pardon the word, Could you change the organization structure without consulting me, who is the director of HR and General Affairs? That was what I said in front of the president. In other words, I stood my ground. I held the fort. I was firm. So to cut the long story short, after a week, I saw that my counterpart in strategic planning reverted to the original organization structure. The third challenge that I had at the time was that as Christmas was nearing, that was sometime 1995, the company did not have a Christmas budget. While we hired 61 engineers at the time who were all training in Japan, we nonetheless hired also about 100 production operators and 20 line leaders. So the question was, how can we possibly come up with a Christmas party to accommodate all these 120 people? So I had to meet with my facilities manager and my safety manager. You will wonder why these two people reported to me directly when I'm purely handling HR and general affairs. This is what I have been saying to newbies. Accept any position that is given to you by your boss without question and even asking what is in it for me. So that was what happened. Now, let me proceed with my presentation. Lessons from the Japanese sense of discipline and work ethics. Next, please, Teddy. Now, this quote is congruent with what Darwin talked about the quote for the week by Jim Brown. Incidentally, I was able to read also before this Jim Brown. He is an American motivational speaker and an entrepreneur, and at one time was a judge across America as the best speaker or the most excellent speaker. Now, reading this quote, if there isn't discipline, how can there be a true realization of an ideal? On one hand, you have the planning and the thinking. And on the other hand, you have the doing. So, how do we bridge the two? Simply through discipline. And that is what Miyamoto Musashi, the author of the Book of Five Rings, wrote in his book. Next, Teddy. I call this the triumph of the human spirit. What this quote means is that we should all endeavor to always be in a superior position, okay, no matter what happens, short of saying that we should always strive for excellence. Do it right the first time, every time, as what the Japanese would always say. Next, Teddy. Now, this quote talks about teamwork. I recall that when we were judging the Employer of the Year of PMAP many years ago, one company stood out. In spite of the fact that they had primitive system, that they had outdated 2-1 files, the chair of the Board of Judges indicated to us that the reason why he chose and voted this company to be Employer of the Year is because of what they call, of what he calls rather, esprit de corps in French, which means team spirit. When the chair then talked to the president up to the level of janitor, they were all saying the same things. Compared to the two contenders who were saying these different things. So how can we possibly award Employer of the Year to these two contenders? So there was no debate. We awarded the top employer to this local company. I will no longer mention the name, but just think of the context of what I said. Next. Always maintain a superior position. Never ever shortchange yourself. Never ever downgrade yourself. Never ever suffer from what they call imposter syndrome. That in spite of the fact that you are smart, you think lowly of yourself and tell everyone that I'm inferior. This is the exact opposite of what they call the Dunning-Kruger effect, where an individual thinks highly of himself that he is smarter than the others when in reality he is not. So, a skilled swordsman has superior manners. Never settle for pwede na. It's about right. Next study. Kumbaga sa Tagalog po, kurutin mo ang sarili mo. Short of saying that we should be mindful, we should always be empathetic, we should always be conscious of the people who surround us. We should be able to understand their pain. That is the essence of a good HR practitioner. Always have compassion for others. You will notice in my post that compared to others, I always use the heart instead of always being legalistic about my answers. Because that is the true essence of being a true-blooded HR practitioner. Next. You may have all the best intentions in the world. You may be highly disciplined. But you have not, in fact, sharpened the saw. You are so incompetent in your job. Therefore, the saying, 1,000 days of lessons for discipline, which is easier, but 10,000 days of lessons for mastery. Be a lifelong learner. Read books. Okay? Gobble the books. Eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Solve crossword puzzles. Use words that you're not familiar with every day as you learn them. Enroll in the MBA school if you must. And as I mentioned in my post the other day, read at least one page of the Philippine Labor Code every day. Before you know it, you would have read the entire book. So, read it again. Understand the context. Do not just read for the sake of reading. Because if you understand the context of each provision, no matter what questions are being asked of you, you will be able to answer. Admittedly, I cannot recite all the numbers of these legal provisions, but I know how to answer each based on how I understood the question. You always have to focus on the context because, as what Dave Ulrich said, the father of modern HR management, content is king, but context is the kingdom. Next. Now, behind the backdrop of all of these items that I mentioned, how do we apply? Let's start with recruitment. Any HR practitioner is familiar with onboarding, but I came up with an idea that there should be an intervention prior to onboarding, and I call it job offer orientation. In Japanese, they call it mensetsu, or plainly speaking, job preview. Many employees have a change of heart. They back out at the last minute. And I noticed that there was something wrong. What is causing these people to leave immediately? So I came up with mensetsu, meaning before making a job offer, we will meet with all the candidates. We will discuss the job offer. We will tell what is happening inside the company like it is without painting a rosy picture about our company. For instance, in a Japanese company, you cannot leave the office if your boss is still around. And we have day and night shift. This month, you will be on day shift. Next month, you will be assigned in the night shift. In other words, hindi po namin sila binobola. As early as the mensetsu, we already tell them what to expect before they sign the job offer. What did that intervention do? Mula noon, wala na nagre-resign. Because they know what is in store. Hindi katulad ng mga ibang kumpanya na nambobola na sinasabi na ganito gagawin. They are just paying lip service to what they say. The Japanese are not like that. They call a spade a spade. If you're an asshole, they will tell you. Pardon the word. Next. We give the opportunity, for instance, to engineers who just graduated to choose the kind of positions they want from a list. It's not the kind where, o dyan ka, dito ka, based on our whims and caprices, based on what we want. No, it is what they want. Okay? In the same manner that when you're organizing a Christmas party, do not even benchmark by asking all these people, where do you hold your Christmas party? You ask your employees. That's the real deal. Next, Training. Hindi po sila matipid sa training. Ito mga halimbawa ng training nila. Next, Nagano training. One of the cities na napakalamig doon. Kawasaki training. Asia Pacific training. Japanese language and work ethics lessons for 6 months. Next, compensation. Next, we simplified our performance evaluation into two parts: competencies and corporate thinking. We give recognition not only to your own skills, but how you view the entire organization. Short of saying that you should be selfless, you think of the others before yourself. Next, start small with allowances, but improve yearly. Every time employees ate at the canteen, we gave free rice. Yung isang ano lang, tumpok lang ng kanin. The following year, ginawa namin dalawa. And then, later on, nag-increase pa kami ng allowances monetarily. In other words, it doesn't have to be big. Start small, but improve yearly. And then, honor system. One time, we had a problem with our payroll system. About 2,000 operators were not paid their overtime. So what do we do? Because almost every day, we would see production operators lining up at the HRD office complaining. So we had to have an emergency management meeting. And in that meeting, the president had the last say. This is what he said. Pay all claims. No questions asked. No documentation required. If an operator tells HR that she was not paid this much, you pay that much. So all the production operators were very happy because they felt that they were not shortchanged. Sorry for that disturbance, no. So, meaning, if there were instances when the company could not provide what employees are asking for, they understood our explanation because we were good to them in good times. But in bad times, they understood our position and commiserated with us. Next heading, employee relations. Next steady. I mentioned this already as employees. The other intervention, which we discovered to be a hit among employees, is we identified a space within the canteen premises where we put all the trophies, the medals, the awards, the certificates, the photos of achievements of all employees for everyone to see. And they were all mighty proud in even inviting their relatives to take a look at the employee achievements gallery. They felt so high at the time, bragging about their own achievements. Next, every week, I met for 1 hour, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, down to the afternoon, with managers separately, with supervisors separately, with engineers, technicians, secretaries, clerks, and production operators. Why separate them? Because they have their own issues and concerns. And we did not want to mix these issues and concerns. And there were even instances when we would invite canteen concessionaires, shuttle bus operators, janitorial services owners, landscaping services owners, and the like. And the employees get to ask them questions. So they felt that they were listened to. Next, electronic boards. We had about 11 electronic boards placed in strategic areas in the offices. So every time there is a new policy, every time there is a new organization structure or chart, every time that there are new announcements, we use the electronic boards so that all employees are properly informed. Now, this intervention is very simple, but mind you, color coded ID strings work because by identifying the color of your ID string, HR can easily determine which department you belong to. And then in our corridors, I think I mentioned this in my last presentation last February. Keep right policy. We put a line in the middle of the corridors. So if you are going to that direction, you keep to your right. If you are going to this direction, you also keep to your right so that you don't bump into each other. And this sets order in the house because if there are about 1,000 employees going to the canteen each time, we avoid quarrels, yung nagkakabanggaan. And mind you, may pita ko dyan eh. Pag may mga nag-overtake sa line, hinahabol ko yan at hinuhuli ko. At binibigyan ko ng warning. And finally, radio taiso, they call it. Morning exercise. It's about a minute exercise where all the employees, including the president, down to the clerk, would be seen exercising early in the morning as we start at 7:45. Tan, tan, taran, tan, 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 taran. Yun ang ano niya, ang music nun. But all Japanese companies know that. And mind you, it's a good exercise. Next, Teddy. We occupied 3 buildings, just like Schumart or SM. Hindi na pala kilala ng mga kabataan ni Schumart. SM yan, SM. But we had the biggest canteen which can house 1,000 employees at any one time. With 3 ATM machines, with a mini stop, with the drugstore, and with 5 canteen concessionaires. So it's just like a community. You can find everything there. You don't have to go out to buy something. Ghost deliveries. Mga tuso rin mga engineers namin eh. Dumating yung oras na may magdi-deliver sa isang kahon ng spare parts. And the engineers will accept them as good. Yung pala, kung ano-ano mga bakal ang nakalagay doon sa kahon. Pero ang mga Hapon, hindi mo maiisa yan. At that time, I recall that the spare parts involved had something to do with the boiler. Ang ginawa nila, kapag yung part ng boiler ginamit na, pinipinturahan nila yung part na yun. So, ibig sabihin, pag nag-deliver ka, okay, na may fake na, ibig sabihin, ghost delivery na yun. No? And then, this is something that I embraced and which had been very helpful to me. One apology is better than 10 excuses. Pagkasalanan mo na, huwag ka na magpalusot. Aminin mo na lang. Even the Japanese are known for how they bow. The lower they bow, the more it talks about their humility. The Japanese proverb says, the mature rice stalk bends itself low. Next, Teddy. I read the comment of Pai Conde no, on Hone and Tatemae. And this should be a lesson to Pinoys. Hone is individual voice. Tatemae is group voice. In a meeting, we management team members argue a lot, shout at each other, disagree, but finally we make a decision. And that decision, even if it did not come from you and you disagree with it, once you go outside, you tell people of the group's decision as if the decision came from you. Hindi mawalang galang na. Marami sa atin na bubulong na, hindi ako bumoto dyan. Ayaw na ayaw ko yan. Diba? Parang yung double-faced individual eh. If you're talking to management, you say, Mr. President, in fact, I defended management. Diba? But when the HR practitioner talks to the unions or union officers, pinagtanggol ko nga kayo sa management. The danger there is that when management and the union talk to each other, you will be discovered as having double face. And that you should not do. Because if you are a real, true-blooded HR practitioner, what you tell one is what you tell Pedro, or what you tell Aida, Lorna, and Fe. Five S. I mentioned this to one of my clients who is probably listening today. Hello there, my friends from Electro. What is the real purpose of 5S? Many think that it is good housekeeping. No sir, no ma'am. The purpose of 5S is to be able to pinpoint abnormality. I gave this example. For instance, kung yung gunting parati mo nilalagay dito sa lugar nito, hinanap ni ina at hindi niya makita dahil nilagay mo dito sa ibang lugar, hindi niya mahahanap yun. But if the pair of scissors is placed all the time in that particular location, easily you will be able to pinpoint abnormality. And that is the essence of 5S. Genchi, Genbutsu, Genjitsu. Okay. Genchi is real location. Genbutsu is real thing. Genjitsu is reality, the facts, the givens. Combine them together, an HR practitioner has to go to the scene. You have to see what is happening in your very own eyes. Do not just rely on other people to give you secondary data. Because for all you know, the kind of feedback that they will give to you would not be as true and as factual as how you saw them yourself. Ikaw mismo pumunta doon sa scene para malaman mo. Ni mo watch. This involves transplanting a big tree. When you transplant a big tree from here to there, attention to the big roots, but to the small roots. You dig first the small roots, yun mismo muna ang unahin mo. Short of saying, in decision making, there has to be soft landing. Translation. If I want a proposal approved, what I do is to talk separately to the SVP of manufacturing, to the SVP of production management, to the VP of strategic planning, to the VP of finance, before I talk to the president. And I convince them to my way of thinking. And when I think already that I was successful in convincing each and every one of them, that is the time that I will mention my proposal to everyone in a general meeting. That way, I can easily get approval. Paano? Inunahan ko na eh. Kinausap ko na isa-isa eh. Kenkyo, the Japanese versus the Westerns. when you are praised, the Japanese would remain humble. On the other hand, the Westerns, when they are praised, they take pride. They remain modest, yes, but they take pride, which is different. Next, lastly, the 7 Japanese principles to avoid laziness. Sorry, I will have to look at my notes now for sequencing. Okay, next. Ikigai, which is purpose. Your purpose fuels you. It is what eventually what you want to become, which was even mentioned in the book on motivation by Daniel Pink, Drive, in his book Drive. He mentioned autonomy, mastery, purpose. Of course, purpose is one of them. Next, Kaizen, small improvements. It doesn't have to be big. Come up with small improvements, and by the time you know it, when you total everything, all these improvements, small improvements, will amount to something formidable. Next, Teddy. Pomodoro technique. What is that? Work for 25 minutes without interruptions, without looking at your cell phone, okay, without distractions, and then take a 5-minute break. Then do 25 minutes again, 5 minutes, 25 minutes, 5 minutes. That's Pomodoro technique. Okay. Next. Hara habitu. This has something to do with eating. Okay. Eat slowly. Don't stuff yourself. Okay? Kumbaga, don't be a glutton. Because if you do this, okay, 80%, okay, you will feel full. And somehow, it will energize you. It will improve your mood. Next, Shoshin. Approach each task like a beginner. Excited, energetic, consistent. All the qualities, all the traits of a beginner are with you. That's Shoshin. Next, wabi-sabi. Hindi wasabi ah. Pagkain yun. O yung nilalagay na green sa sashimi. Embrace imperfection. No one is perfect. Do not stress yourself out by saying that you are Superman. Look at me. I used to say I'm a Superman. That's why I had the stroke 6 years ago. And I learned my lesson the hard way. Lastly, next, Teddy. Okibo, budget and track your expenses. Okay? Do not spend on things just like the other day. I came up with a post. Okay? Use things, not people. Okay? Make sure that you only buy the essentials and try to save your earnings each month. Okay. I would like to end by saying thank God for especially the God, the Holy Spirit, for helping me to make a difference in the lives of HR practitioners and to help in the advancement of the HR profession in the country. And as a parting shot, with Darwin's permission, I have a webinar on September 23, but the deadline of the early bird discount was last Saturday. If you register tomorrow, Monday, I will still give you the discount because the way we do here is that we founded our HR group not to earn money, but to help HR practitioners. So we will not earn, we will not profit. For as long as we are faithful to our advocacy, then that's good enough for us. Thank you very much to all of you, and I wish you well. And if you have questions, please message me, and I will be happy to answer you. And let me end with this. No, let me read. This is the only slide that I will read, word for word. There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself. Thank you very much to all of you. I wish you all well. God bless. Rona, please take the floor.
Hi, Sir Ernie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let's see if we have some questions from the audience. Sige. For all our audience, if you do have questions to Sir Ernie, please kindly put them at the chat session or our comment session so that we can read it for you. But sir, Ka-Ernie, from my end, I do have a question. A lot of people have this misconception that Japanese companies, yung culture ng Japanese culture when it comes to working is somehow problematic in a way because, 'di ba? They would normally stress out themselves at to the point of having poor health, not being able to sleep, and minsan talagang napaka-dedicated nila sa work na pag nadi-disappoint sila or na nagkakaroon sila ng major setback sa work, it impacts them emotionally aside from dun sa health nila. And some we've heard cases that it leads to depression up to even suicidal tendencies or even illness for those who are practicing such. What's your thoughts on it, Ernie? Is the Japanese
Okay, Ernie lang,
way of work?
wala nang ka. Okay,
Yun
Darwin,
yata
I
yung
answer it this
karoshi,
way,
no?
no? The Japanese are considered as economic animals. But it really depends, no? Because it highly depends on your head of HR. In other words, your head of HR spineful. Should have balls, should have the gall to call out Japanese executives. You know, during back in the day, I called out the president and other executives. I told them, you know, Filipinos have a life too. We have to come early or go home early rather because we have to teach our children their homeworks. We have to eat dinner with our family and we have to be with them on Saturday and Sunday. And they all agree to be the ones to adjust. But if your HR head is lousy and is a yes man, you will never achieve that kind of environment. So I hope I answered your question. It depends.
I see. So it depends on the assertiveness of the HR professional.
Oo, kung magaling yung HR mo, hindi siya papayag na inaabuso yung mga
Oo.
empleyado niya. Pero kung lousy ka na
Tama.
yes man ka na you will allow your your superiors to terminate your services or you're afraid to lose your job, then you don't have what it takes to be an HR practitioner.
Yun. I agree.
Pero kung magaling ka, sasabihin mo yung mga kahit yung boss mo. Even if you will lose your job. Ganun katinik yung mga magagaling na HR.
Okay. You don't have
Kasi
to always
mawalang
say
galang
yes.
na yung mga nababasa ko sa mga MSMEs, mga sunod-sunod eh. Kung ano yung sabihin ng business owners, yun ang sinusunod nila eh. Hindi dapat ganun. Dapat parati kung advice, manindigan ka. Alam mo naman ang tamang gawin. Dapat gawin mo ang tama. kahit naman walang kang trabaho, tama naman yung ginagawa mo eh. Because at the end of the day, somebody will hire you na professional and will give you the right job and the right employee experience.
Aka-Ernie, would you say that working in a Japanese company would not only hone your skill set, but is it competitive working in a Japanese company? Because I myself have actually worked in a Japanese company. I'm part of Mitsui Corporation. Um, what would be your recommendation to up and coming HR professionals or HR professionals who are looking into joining Japanese companies? Uh, would you say that it's uh, is it hindi na profitable, but is it something that lucrative ba pag lumipat ka sa isang Japanese
No,
company, or
you can probably say that when you talk of the salary structure, they are normally in the midpoint, no, median rate,
midpoint? Mhm.
no, not high, not low, but just enough. But at the same time, the experience is excellent, no, because at the end of the day, this is what I have been saying. You sharpen your saw, there will come a time that you won't even talk about money because money will come in automatically if you are already made. If you have the skills, if you have the character, then all potential employers will hire you. In my case, I lasted 14 and a half years with Fujitsu. And the only reason why I left because they were acquired by another company.
Mhm.
And had they not been acquired, I would have been in there for more years. Kumbaga, nakagamayan ko yung ugali which is discipline eh. You know, sidebar, no? I was told by my counterpart why Fujitsu hired me. Because when I was headhunted, we were 7 candidates.
Mhm.
And I was told that the reason why they hired me is that I was the only candidate who talked about integrity.
That's very
Eh,
important, of course.
pogi point yun sa kanila eh. That's why I bested all the other candidates. Na even though I don't have a manufacturing experience, they tried me out. Any more questions?
Uh, Alan, do you have any questions for Ka-Ernie?
Alam mo, ito si Alan, hindi ko alam kung matutuwa ako dito tsaka kay Rone dahil pinag-uusapan yung experience namin noong 2003, 2004 pa pinapatanda ako eh. Pero kidding aside, no, si Alan and Rona are good friends of mine from way back Job Street days
Yes, sir.
when the administrator was Jig Blanco Oriaque, who is
Mm.
also a co-founder of my chat group. No? At ang madalas sumagot dyan during that time, yung mga binigyan nila ng moniker na actually, hindi naman kami hook members eh. Some wise guys associated the moniker ka with HR guru.
Gurus.
Kaya ang nakinabang dyan si Ka Danny, Ka Efren, Ka Ernie, tsaka later on
Ka
si
James.
Ka James. Pero yung si Danny, tsaka si Efren, retired na. si James Semi. Pero ako nagko-consultancy pa ako at marami pa akong kliyente at madalas pa ako sumagot sa PHRG post. And I founded my own group, HRTGP, which comes up with what they call thinking conversation questions each week. Kaya I'm still active and that prevents me from having Alzheimer's disease.
Yung question ko po tungkol sa culture ng Japan na minsan nagagamit din dito, yung strong emphasis on the hierarchy and seniority na medyo restrictive. I'm sure you as being a very assertive HR professional, HR manager, paano nyo po ito na nasasalubong?
Noon yun, Alan, yung seniority was being practiced. But
Mm.
in the modern times, not anymore.
Mm.
Yung seniority allowance, hindi na binibigyan ng pansin yan because younger person can overtake a senior person based on one's ability. Ang ginagawa na lang to give credence to senior people, binibigyan na lang ng what they call position allowance.
Mm.
That way, hindi kasama sa basic and will not affect the giving out of 13-month pay and other benefits.
Isa pa po.
Maraming misimpression sa Japanese eh.
Oo. So itong ano po, itong conflict between the concept of yung emphasis for group harmony versus individualism. Kasi Filipinos,
Oo.
medyo we are trained into Western
Very
thinking
individual.
ng individualism, di ba? Pero sila group harmony. Kaya there's a challenge there. The value of open and frank communication minsan na apektuhan or nasa-sacrifice or na-compromise dahil yung group harmony kailangan marinig eh. Kailangan yung desisyon ng grupo
Exactly.
ang dapat manaig. So yung mga individualist persons na feeling nila very intelligent, very bright yung kanilang ideas, nasusuppress. Paano po ito hinandle ng panahon ninyo?
Well,
Kasi may mga Western expats siguro or what?
ang ginagawa kasi ng modern day Japanese compared with before, they are now the ones adjusting to Pinoys, not the other way around. Because back in the day, they wanted the Pinoys to adjust to them. But not anymore. Katulad yung in the workplace, I call their attention, don't speak Japanese in front of Filipinos. Always speak in English so that they can understand. And every time we have a meeting where there are guests speaking in English, they will assign a Japanese to each Pinoy to translate what the Japanese guest is saying. So, the long and short of it is mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Mga bago na kasi yung mga Japanese na iba, ano na yan eh, westernized na yan eh. Some US educated, some studied in Australia, some studied in UK, some studied in New Zealand. Kaya the mindset sets of the Japanese have changed.
I haven't worked
Pero ako,
in any Japanese
I will
company.
highly recommend that if you want to learn more, a manufacturing setup is best because you get to learn all the aspects of HR.
Mm.
Sa ibang industries, ano lang eh, limited lang sa, let's say, recruitment training.
Oo.
Pero sa manufacturing lahat, you get to be involved even in production control, facility, safety, due diligence, organization development, the works.
Okay.
Kaya nahasa ako dyan.
I was about to share, hindi ako nakapag-work sa Japanese firm, pero as a consultant, I was exposed to a lot of Japanese companies doing a lot of different interventions, lalong-lalo na sa OD at sa training. And yung mga binanggit nyo, sir, kanina, particularly yung um, Ikigai, would you like to share paano ma-apply ng mga newbies sa HR yung concept ng Ikigai?
Ang ikigay kasi is to find a goal which eventually will satisfy you in terms of what you will want to become and what you want others to become. Kumbaga, it is noble eh.
Ganda.
Kaya yung style na what is in it for me, hindi ko gagawin yan dahil wala yan sa job description ko.
Yun.
Eh gusto niya nang magpatuloy magtrabaho sa kumpanya pero ang huli niya tatanungin, what is my final pay? Will I get 13 pay? Puro
Naputol. Well,
Ano,
anyway,
wala si
oo nga,
Sir
babalik din
Ernie.
yan. So, very interesting, Sir,
Hindi,
Coach
ayan.
Darwin, ano?
Ayan na, Sir Ernie.
Ayan na siya.
Sir Ernie, yan.
Hindi, ito
Sir
na.
Ernie, meron ni... May nag-message dito from Joanne Badango Holgado. Thank you very much, Sir, earlier for sharing. I have been in a Japanese company since I graduated high school. 27 years na po ako and counting sa company ako. Joanne, congratulations. I can say that I'm enjoying working with them.
Hi, Joanne.
Okay. Ka-Ernie, any last words po? Or anything that you would like to promote to our
Well,
audience?
I just would like to say this, no. I want to emphasize a few things. Please don't ever think of money right away. I know times are hard, but before asking for money, learn how to prove yourself first. Sharpen your saw. Eh, pag yung mga nagtatanong, mapapakamot ka na lang sa ulo eh. Kasi they don't even try to read. They want to be spoon-fed. They want us to hand them the silver platter. Hindi dapat ganun. You have to take it upon yourself to learn. Okay? So that eventually you will be able to add value.
Exactly.
Yun lang ang gusto kong sabihin. I will not talk much anymore. No?
Thank you for that, Ka-Ernie. Alan, anything that you would like to share, any last words, or anything that you would like to invite our audience
Yun.
before we end the show?
Speaking of Kaizen, continuous improvement, I'm inviting interested parties to continuously improve and hone their skills on particular technology. By Tuesday, that's the day one of my course, Artificial Intelligence for HR. Particularly, the first course is applied in recruitment and talent acquisition. Pwede pa ho kayong humabol. And kung namamahalan kayo sa price, you can talk to me, you can give you discount dahil yun may mga members ng PHRG. Huwag ho ninyong kakawalan yung opportunity to learn. Huwag ho kayo matatakot sa artificial intelligence dahil these AIs will not replace our job. Why? Meron tayong angking talino at galing na hindi kayang gawin ng artificial intelligence. Gawin natin silang tools para bubilis yung trabaho natin 10 times more and add value to our companies. Sabi nga ni Ka-Early, add value. When you add value to your companies, you also add value to the economy, to the nation. Kaya nagiging productive ka na citizen ng lipunan at the same time. Coach?
Well, for
Meron
me,
nga pala ako, Darwin, mawalang galang na
sure po.
naalala, no?
Pa-promote po kayo, Ka-Ernie. October 10.
October 10, I am coming up with a new webinar na sinalang ko lang kanina or kahapon about how to prepare a basic salary structure and a basic performance management system. I simplified it, okay, so that you will not get confused. So, apart from my September 23 webinar, I will come up with a October 20 webinar.
Mhm.
And last but not the least, yung October 5 event namin sa 4th learning event sa HRTGP. Ang speaker dyan, my friend, si Pinsan Jerry Plana, the best trainer in the Philippines, who is my co-founder. Thank you very much.
Okay po. So, please, if you would like to reach out to Sir Ernie Espinosa, he is actually available both in Facebook and in LinkedIn. And please support all his programs and seminars, upcoming seminars. And meron dito, ano lang, I just like to what you call this, to highlight, coming from Edgar Bell Agustin, Japanese manufacturing companies are very good. In fact, last week I conducted training to a Japanese company about total productive maintenance, and more than half of my attendees were from HR, accounting, and admin department. Okay. Now, as I end the show, there are really a lot of things, positive things that you can actually pick up from the discussion that we have, the training that you've got from Ka Ernie Espinosa with regards to the discipline and culture of discipline of Japanese companies. And but also, please bear in mind that our own culture, the Filipino culture, has an equivalent. Ito yung malasakit, di ba? That's something that we are also propagating at the Philippines HR group. We feel that if each and every person would have malasakit, both from the employer and employee side, then it will result to good uh, culture in your organization. It will create harmony. It will create open communication. It will create higher productivity amongst your organization and companies or groups. So we would like to thank everyone for joining us today for this episode, episode 148 of Usapang Trabaho, Buhay Iba Pa. We will see you again next week for another valuable episode of the HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay Iba Pa. Next week, same time, Sunday, 3 p.m. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat. God bless everyone. Happy Sunday.
Bye.
Ka
Bye.
Ernie, God bless po. Happy Sunday po.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. God bless.
God bless.